At a family birthday party, a father-in-law accused his daughter-in-law of infidelity in front of everyone. However, he did not anticipate the reaction his son would have upon hearing the accusations. In the quiet town of Oakwood, Connecticut, where ancient trees embraced peaceful streets, lived the respected Pearson family. Their imposing Victorian home, with tall windows and a well-manicured lawn, was the perfect backdrop for an ostensibly perfect life. But behind the lace curtains, a storm was brewing. Harold Pearson, at 65, was the undisputed patriarch. Owner of a successful construction company, he ruled his family with the same iron fist he used in business. His stern face rarely softened, except when he spoke of his professional accomplishments. However, his eyes often shifted, as if carrying the weight of long-buried secrets. Nathan, Harold's only son, at 35, lived in his father's shadow. A talented architect, he never seemed capable of gaining Harold's full approval. His slightly stooped shoulders and hesitant gaze revealed years of subtle criticism and unmet expectations. Even so, Nathan tirelessly strived to make his father proud. Emma, Nathan's wife for 5 years, was a breath of fresh air in the stifling atmosphere of the Pearsons. A 32-year-old literature teacher, her bright eyes and warm smile contrasted with the family's formality. She struggled daily to fit in, always feeling like she was walking on eggshells around Harold. Margaret, the 60-year-old matriarch, hovered between conflicts like a frightened dove. Her gentle face showed signs of constant worry as she tried to maintain peace between her domineering husband and insecure son. Her birthday was approaching, and she hoped the celebration would bring a moment of family unity. As the family prepared for the party, the tension was palpable. Harold demanded perfection in every detail, his orders echoing through the house. Nathan scrambled to meet his father's demands, while Emma tried to soothe the mood with gentle suggestions, often ignored. In the dark corners of the town, whispers about the return of Jack, Emma's ex-boyfriend, began to circulate. His unexpected presence added an extra layer of anxiety to the already fragile family dynamics. As the day of the party approached, each member of the Pearson family carried their own fears and secrets. Harold, with his firm hands on the family's wheel, did not realize he was about to drive everyone towards an emotional cliff. Nathan, torn between pleasing his father and protecting his marriage, walked a tightrope. Emma, feeling increasingly like an outsider, struggled to maintain her identity amid the suffocating expectations of the Pearsons. The town of Oakwood, with its tree-lined streets and well-kept facades, had no idea of the storm brewing inside the Pearson mansion. As preparations for the party continued, the stage was set for a confrontation that would shake the foundations of this seemingly perfect family, revealing long-hidden truths and testing the limits of love, loyalty, and forgiveness. Margaret Pearson's birthday party was in full swing at the elegant family mansion. The backyard was beautifully decorated with twinkling lights and tables covered with impeccable white cloths. Guests, dressed in their finest attire, mingled around, chatting animatedly and enjoying the canapes and champagne served by uniformed waiters. Nathan and Emma arrived hand in hand, smiling nervously at guests who greeted them. Emma adjusted her navy blue dress, feeling uncomfortable under the curious glances of some of the Pearson family's closest friends. "Are you okay?" Nathan whispered, gently squeezing Emma's hand. "Yes, just a bit nervous," she replied, forcing a smile. As they headed to greet Margaret, Emma spotted a familiar figure approaching. Her heart raced as she recognized Jack, her ex-boyfriend, walking towards them with a warm smile. "Emma! Nathan! Good to see you!" Jack exclaimed, hugging Emma briefly and shaking Nathan's hand. Emma felt Nathan tense up beside her. "Jack, I didn't know you would be here," she said, trying to keep her voice calm. "I came back to town a few weeks ago. Margaret invited me. I hope you don't mind," Jack explained, his eyes fixed on Emma. Nathan cleared his throat, visibly uncomfortable. Of course not. Excuse me, I'll go get us a drink, Emma. As Nathan walked away, Emma noticed Harold watching the scene from a distance, a glass of whiskey in his hand. His eyes were narrowed, and she could feel the hostility in his gaze. As the night progressed, the tension in the air seemed to thicken. Harold drank more and more, his comments becoming increasingly acidic and directed at Emma. So, Emma, Harold said loudly, approaching her with unsteady steps. How's work at the school? Still have time for extracurricular activities? Emma felt her face burn. Mr. Pearson, I am fully dedicated to my work and my family. Nathan tried to intervene. Dad, please, this isn't the time. Harold laughed sarcastically. Not the time? When is it time to speak the truth, Nathan? Margaret appeared, trying to calm the situation. Harold, dear, let's cut the cake. Everyone is waiting. But Harold seemed determined to continue. You know, Emma, I always wonder why Jack returned to town just now. Coincidence, isn't it? Jack, who was nearby, intervened. Mr. Pearson, I'm just here to visit my family, nothing more. Emma began to feel nauseous, the stress of the situation physically affecting her. Excuse me, I need to go to the bathroom, she murmured, quickly moving away. In the bathroom, Emma splashed cold water on her face, trying to recompose herself. When she returned to the garden, she found Harold at the center of a group of guests, his loud, slurred voice echoing through the night. You think you know people, don't you? He said, dangerously swaying his glass. But sometimes the people closest to us are the ones who disappoint us the most. Emma froze, feeling that something terrible was about to happen. Nathan appeared by her side, his face pale with worry. Dad, I think you've had too much to drink. Let's go inside. Nathan tried to intervene, but Harold pushed him away with a brusque gesture. No, son, it's time for everyone to know the truth, Harold declared, his eyes fixed on Emma. Silence fell over the party like a heavy curtain. All eyes turned to Emma, who felt the blood drain from her face. The air was charged with tension, and Emma knew her life was about to change forever. Harold, swaying slightly, raised his voice so that everyone could hear. Your dear wife is not who you think she is, Nathan. I have proof that Emma has been unfaithful. A shocked murmur rippled through the crowd. Emma felt the world spinning around her, her legs weakening. Harold, this is absurd, Margaret exclaimed, trying to restrain her husband. Ignoring her, Harold pulled an envelope from his pocket. Here are the proofs, photos, messages, everything that shows the true nature of this. He hesitated, as if searching for the right word. Stop, Emma shouted, tears streaming down her face. This is a lie. Nathan, you have to believe me. Nathan remained silent, his face a mask of confusion and pain. Emma looked at him, pleading with her eyes for some sign of trust, but he only looked away. Jack stepped forward. Mr. Pearson, this is madness. Emma would never do something like this. Harold laughed bitterly. Oh, sure, defend your lover. Everyone knows you came back to town for her. The guests began to whisper among themselves, casting disapproving glances at Emma and Jack. Emma felt nauseous, the world spinning around her. I would never, she stuttered, unable to form coherent sentences. Margaret tried again to calm the situation. Harold, enough! You're ruining the party and embarrassing all of us. But Harold was relentless. He opened the envelope and began to spread photos across the nearest table. Look, see with your own eyes. Emma, horrified, saw manipulated images of her and Jack in compromising situations. This is false. Nathan, you have to believe these photos are fake. Nathan finally spoke, his voice low and trembling. Emma! How? Why?